Welcome back to BESTERNS 2017. We are just about set for the next bout of the day. This one is going to feature the top seed of the tournament, the Tucson Roller Derby Saddle Tramps, coming in ranked number 26 in the WFTDA rankings, squaring off against the Jet City Bombers, who got here by virtue of their victory in the first bout of the day when they defeated Boulder. Jet City comes in ranked at 58th, so a bit of a disparity in the rankings, but nothing that won't keep any of these two teams from battling it out to their fullest. As you can see on the screen, the clock is just about 50 seconds, and that is when we're going to get rolling. Big question that's always asked when a team is in their second bout of the day of a tournament is, have they worked out all the rust, or have they worn themselves out? We'll find that out. On the other side, Tucson yet to hit the skates today, so they might have a little bit of rust to work off themselves, or they could come in fresh and ready to rock and roll. It's always the calm before the storm, before everything starts going on. Thank you so much for joining us on this stream on the Rocky Mountain Roller Girls YouTube channel. If you can't make it here to Foothills Fieldhouse, hope you can join us all weekend long. We've got a full docket, 7 games today, 7 games tomorrow, and 5 on Sunday. Before we crown a champion, when the whistle gets going, we are going to have Shanna Banana Hammock jamming for Tucson. She is going to be squaring off against number 5. That's Ivana Hercha for Jet City. Shanna Banana Hammock is your lead jammer for Tucson in the first jam. Ivana Hercha bumped off, gets back to work on the front stretch, and here at turn 1, still facing the Tucson D, but overcomes and is now ready for some scoring. But she won't get that opportunity as Shanna Banana Hammock makes one pass, taps those hips. First blood drawn by Tucson 3-0 after that first jam. Pixie Axe is going to wear the star for Tucson in jam number 2. Saddle Tramps come in with a 3-0 record here in 2017. They beat Wasatch, Calgary, and Sacred City. Eva Derchi is going to wear the star for Jet City. Jet City coming in 1-1 on the season. Make that 2-1 if you count that win against Boulder earlier. In a photo finish, Jet City gets that lead call, but Pixie Axe doing a great job putting the pressure on her. Jam is going to get called off without any points being tallied, so after 2, it's still 3-0. Power start for Jet City, a Sofa King Ninja wearing the star. We've got a Pixie Axe penalty at the very end of that. Penalty called on Jet City. Looks like a high block is going to go to the box for that. So Pixie Axe set free, flip the switch. Let's make this a power jam for Tucson. Pixie attacks that pack pretty quickly and gets bumped off on the backstretch. All kinds of chaos at turn 2 of the pack, but Pixie finds her way through, is now eligible for points. Pixie on the outside, fancy footwork. That's going to be a big 5 spot for Tucson. Ninja out of the penalty box, through the pack, looking for points. Blaxican Bomber going to the penalty box. Tucson down a blocker. As Pixie gets bumped off between turns 3 and 4 and has to recycle back. But a power opportunity will present itself again for Tucson as Ninja goes to the box on another penalty. I didn't see what that call was. But nevertheless, it's going to be 30 more seconds without a jammer for Jet City. Pixie through for 5. 30 seconds remain in the jam. Pack is just about turn 3. And Tucson's blockers doing a good job engaging the Jet City blockers, trying to make a little bit more room for their jammer. I always like it when the blockers get involved. It's a team sport. Might as well get everybody involved in scoring the points. Pixie bumped off just at the jam line. And then Jet City, good track awareness, making it work really hard to get back, but not before the 2-minute time clock expires. And we've skated just about 4 minutes, 26 left in the first half. Tucson 17. Jet City scored as much as I did in high school, 0 thus far. Tucson wants to give a shout out to their B team watch party back in Arizona. So glad you can join us for BESTERNS 2017. No doubt, I'm sure you'll be streaming the rest of the events. Definitely when Tucson's on, but hope you're enjoying yourself. Sending you some love from Denver, Colorado. Shanna Banana Hammock, lead jammer for Tucson. Successful day for her so far. Jet City sends Ala Smasha out there to wear the star. She is through the pack and eligible for points. And as is the recipe for success, Shanna hits the pack, sees what's coming behind her, and the Jet City jammer taps those hips. And Tucson wins the frame 4-0. A Death Proof wearing the star for the first time today for Tucson. Squaring off against Ivana Hercha for Jet City. Death Proof, lead jammer real quick. Ivana Hercha out of the pack, eligible for points as Death Proof just cruises through the inside part for 4 on the board. Signal from the bench and drops it like it's hot. Tucson doing a great job playing offense and defense at the same time, yet to relinquish a point. 25-0, just under 24 minutes to go here in the first half. Eva Derchi wearing the star for Jet City, looking to get things rolling towards the bench for the skaters from Everett, Washington. Does just that on the inside path. Jet City has their first lead of the bout. Pixie Axe wearing the star for Tucson immediately takes that cover off, does not get it to the pivot, so it looks like it was just kind of a decoy move. That 3-wall that Jet City's put up at turn 2 has kept Pixie off, but she overcomes, and she is now eligible for points, getting ready to put that star back on her helmet. As Eva Derchi makes a pass, puts 4 on the board, taps the hips, and Jet City officially on the board with 23 minutes to go in the first half, 25-4. Shanna Banana Hammock back out there, familiar territory for her. For Tucson, it's going to be Sofa King Nitcha out there for Jet City again. Jet City looking to build on that momentum during that last jam. They won 4-0. back block called there on Bombshell for Jet City, but it wasn't unfruitful because the hit that she made to make that penalty knocked a Shanna Banana Hammock off the track. Just a temporary solution, though, as Shanna Banana Hammock through the pack, eligible for points, not declared lead on that no pass, no penalty. Ninja bumped off. That's turn 3 where that happened by Blaxican Bomber, and then recycled back. Good state of mind there. It's going to be a power opportunity for Jet City as Banana goes to the penalty box for 30 seconds. Ninja struggling through. Saw that coming. The multiplayer block called, and Ninja declared lead as that had not been awarded yet on the power opportunity, and a lot of real estate as Tucson has 2 blockers in the box as well as their jammer. All the focus on Ninja, both offensively and defensively. Ninja zigs and zags around Bomber, and that's going to be a 5-point rally. Here come the Bombers for Jet City. Ninja gets bumped off on the backstretch by Bomber, taps those hips, but it's going to be a 4-point tally on that pass for Jet City. Tucson had 3 in the bank before the penalty. 28-13 is your score. 20 minutes, 44 seconds, and counting. I'll smash it on the line for Jet City. Death Proof out there for Tucson. It was a 4-on-2 pack advantage for Jet City, but those penalties on the Tucson blockers quickly expire, so we're back to 5-on-5. Lead jammer declared for Jet City. I'll smash it, really zigging and zagging, digging her way, kind of swimming through the pack almost. It's going to be a power jam as a track cut is called there on Death Proof, so Tucson, after a nice start, both offensively and defensively, having some penalty problems in the last, 5 minutes or so. I'll smash it with her hands full at turn 3, getting bumped off. A quick call off. Jet City wins the frame, so they're going to narrow the gap between the two squads. It's going to be 5 points for the skaters in white. A 28-18 deficit is what they face now. 19.5 to go in the first half. And maybe to their advantage, a power start coming their way. Ivana Hercha, the only jammer out there. This one for Jet City, that power start. Ivana got the shoulder into Blaxican Bomber, getting some help from her blockers, and at turn 2, Jet City has that lead jammer status. Death Proof penalty expires. She's already got the helmet cover in her hands. Wasn't sure what she was going to do with it. Ends up putting it back on her helmet. So instead of passing it to the pivot, which is what she wanted to do, however, the pivot is Blaxican Bomber, who got called for a penalty, so that took that play out. On the other side, Ivana Hercha through the pack for 4, and Jet City's getting the momentum going their way after that strong Tucson start. Death Proof bumped off nicely at turn 3. That's just Daisy with the big hit. Other side, Ivana Hercha putting 5 in the sky, and Jet City feeling the flow. It's now a 1-point deficit that they face. 28-27, 18 minutes. Ivana Hercha on the outside, on the front stretch. Jet City just claimed the lead with that one. That's another grand slam for the Bombers. Death Proof tried to go on the outside. Just Daisy just leveled her. And at the end of that, Ivana Hercha with 5 more points. The lead change is going to stay at the end of the jam, 37-28, and a timeout called for by Tucson. They want to get things in order. They had that fast start and quickly lost momentum, so they're going to try to regroup and see what happens. See if they can put something together. Jet City, on the other hand, really likes what they did. This is similar to what they did to Boulder in that first bout of the day. Came out, didn't have that lull in the beginning, but really established authority and rode that momentum through the 60 minutes of action. Jet City defeated Boulder this morning. They also defeated Boulder in the 2016 Division II playoffs. Thus far, they're 1-1, as we mentioned already. Both of those bouts that they've had in 2017 have been against Treasure Valley. They lost the first one, 171-168 in a heartbreaker, and then came back and got their revenge a short time later, winning the second matchup, 140-114. We'll go on the flip side. Tucson sporting a 3-0 record thus far in 2017. They beat Wasatch 225-149. They beat Calgary 215-132, and they've also beat Sacred City 268-117. As we mentioned, they are the top seed in BESTERNS, so if they can ride that out, they could have an advantageous schedule for the remainder of the weekend. Shanda Banana Hammocks jamming for Tucson, but Jet City's keeping the momentum going their way. Eva Derchi is your lead jammer. Beethoven's Fist doing a great job against Banana. Now getting some assistance from a couple more of the blockers. Beethoven's Fist doing a good job waterfalling around her blockers to keep the defensive work going. Just putting that shoulder into Banana. Penalty, however, called on Eva Derchi, so it's going to be a power opportunity for Tucson. We also lost that lead jammer to the penalty, so 2 minutes is what we're going to skate. Banana with 5, and let's see if Tucson can take advantage of the penalty and get the momentum going back their way, which is probably exactly the purpose of that timeout. Kind of calm the squad down, regroup, come out with a different game plan, and try to get things going their way. Banana this time, it's going to be another 5 spot. 10 points total on the board for Tucson so far in this frame. Eva Derchi's penalty has expired. She's out of the penalty box through the pack, putting 4 on the board for the skaters in white. And there goes Eva again. Can't quite stay on the track at turn 3. Would have been a fancy, fancy move could she have done so. However, now she's got to go all the way along the backstretch to rejoin the action. As Shanna Banana Hammock also bumped off on the inside part of the backstretch. Has to go back to turn 2 to rejoin. You can see now the fatigue starting to set in as this 2-minute jam taking its toll on the skaters. There are the 2-minute whistles. All of those skaters, all 10 of those skaters, surely relieved to hear those 4 tweets. Pixie Axe is going to wear the star for Tucson when that whistle blows again. She's going to be squaring off against Sofa King Ninja for Jet City. Looks like we've got an empty penalty box in front of me, so we've got 5-on-5 derby. Ninja going inside. Pixie trying her luck on the outside, but then ended up on the inside. Bad luck. A track cut meets Pixie Axe. That's going to mean 2 things. 1, lead jammer still open. That goes to Jet City. 2, power opportunity for Jet City in the white unis. Ninja gets bumped off the track at turn 2, hops back to work really, really quickly. And now with all focus on her, we will see just who can prevail, whether it's the blockers for Jet City on the offensive side or the blockers for Tucson on the defensive side. It's going to be a little bit tougher for Tucson now that they are down 1 more blocker. Jet City calling off the frame before Pixie Axe penalty expires, so they're trying to freeze that jammer. Pixie is standing, so less than 10 seconds will remain in that penalty. But a power start for Ala Smasher when the whistle blows. See if Jet City can further extend the advantage of the penalty. Jet City currently with a 50-42 advantage. 14 minutes to go here in the first half. Ala Smash it. Quick little move to the outside. Lead jammer Jet City, so they extend the advantage of that penalty as Pixie Axe just now let out of the penalty box and engaging that pack. Pixie gets bumped off at turn 2, but the blocker who bumped her off also left the track, so she does not have to recycle back. That was Champagne with a good hit. Champagne going on the offensive on the backstretch with a huge hit there on Momo. Action called to a halt. Jet City getting 4 more points on the board and holding Tucson scoreless. Momo, after taking the penalty, taking the hit, gets salt added to the wound with a penalty. Now hanging out in the box. Shanna Banana Hammock wearing the star for Tucson, trying to get things going for the Saddle Tramps. Ivana Hercha out there for Jet City. Not a lot of room being given to each of these jammers thus far. Just Daisy trying to do her deed with a good hit on Blaxican Bomber. See, you wouldn't want to be doing a great job defensively for Jet City. No lead jammer awarded just yet. That's a testament to the defensive fronts being put up by both of these squads thus far. Penalty called on troubleshooter, so Tucson down at blocker. Just a 3-wall out there against Ivana Hercha now. Ivana somehow on the backstretch, stays on the track, stays on her skate, and there, 1 minute into the jam, is your lead jammer for Jet City. Shanna Banana Hammock has taken off the star cover, looking to pass it, does just that, as with a hop, skip, and a jump, Ivana Hercha putting 5 in the sky for Jet City. Blaxican Bomber is now the jammer of record for Tucson, facing a 3, now a 2-wall at turn 2. Razor Wrecker doing a good job against Blaxican Bomber, and a penalty ensues for Bomber, so that's going to be a jammerless situation for a few seconds because Bomber was your active jammer for Tucson. Ivana Hercha, after a bit of a delay, released, and then Bomber serves the same amount of time that Hercha did, so both of our jammers are back out there. We'll go for the full 2 minutes. That's always fun, but I can say that from my point of view. I don't have to worry about sucking wind. Jet City has come storming through after that slow start. Now with 64-42 is their advantage. A 22-point lead that they have with 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. It's like we've got an official review on the track. Jet City wants to take a look at something going on during that last frame, whether it was a penalty, the amount of points awarded. Not quite sure. If I find out, I would be sure to pass it along. BESTERNS 2017 is just getting warmed up. By the time we're done, this is going to be hotter than 2 rats wrestling inside of a wool sock. And I tell you what, the action continues at 4 p.m. when NoCo skates for the first time against the winner from our second game from the day, which would be Sac City. It'll be Sac City and No Coast. Ruckus Ron and Pool Boy will be on the call over the house. I'm going to stick with you because I love you guys. I'm going to be on the broadcast for that one. Then at 6 p.m., Arizona is going to square off against Treasure Valley, and our last bout of the day at 8 p.m. is going to be Wasatch and Rocky Mountain. That's just day 1. We've got 7 more bouts on game 2. We've got 5 bouts day 3 where we crown the champion. Thus far, Tucson's gone with a 3-jammer rotation. Shanna Banana Hammock, Pixie Axe, and Death Proof. On the other side, looks like Jet City's going with a 4 front. Eva Derchi Sova King Ninja, Ivana Hercha, and Ala Smasha wearing the stars. See if that changes throughout the weekend. Remember, we are at altitude, and I don't know if a lot of these skaters are used to doing that. So it might be one of those things where maybe Tucson is using 3 now, but keeping a couple in reserve as events play out on Saturday, on Sunday. Maybe need to throw in somebody else wearing the star. The other approach that you could take is you throw more jammers out initially so people don't get burned out and they can go further along in the bouts. We'll just see how things play out. Tucson Roller Derby wants to send some shout-outs. Jams Bond overseas with military service. Jukes also in the Armed Forces and Judo, training for the Air Force. We always support our Armed Forces, and Tucson doing a great job representing that front. Thank you so much for giving us those shout-outs, and we hope you're watching overseas. Want to get you back as soon as possible. Back to the action. Death Proof thought she was lead jammer, but called for a track cut, so a power opportunity, and lead jammer goes to Jet City as Eva Derchi getting that signal from the referee. Right up the middle goes Eva, and that is going to be a 5-point grand slam for the skaters in white. Jet City taking big advantages of all of these penalties. There goes Eva this time on the outside, and a quick tap of the hips is going to freeze the jammer. Great track awareness, great agility. Jet City with a 10-0 run and an opportunity to expand that penalty out with Ninja wearing the star and Death Proof still standing in the penalty box. Outside of the jammer penalty, we have an empty penalty box, so it is 4-on-4 in the pack. Ninja, your only jammer thus far, grabs that lead call. Death Proof set out. Helmet cover immediately comes off. Blaxican Bomber is your pivot for Tucson, so my guess is the goal is for Death Proof to get over to Bomber, get that helmet cover over to there, and try to stem the bleeding that Jet City has inflicted. Death Proof, though, gets through the pack without making that transfer, so your jammer of record will continue to be Death Proof. As Jet City, though, making another scoring pass and tapping those hips. They are on fire. 82-42 is your score. 8.5 minutes and counting here in the first half. Back to 5-on-5 derby. 2 jammers, 4 blockers, 8 blockers. Check that. Man, math is really difficult sometimes. Ala Smash it for Jet City. Shanna Banana Hammock for Tucson. 4-wall meeting Banana on the front stretch. Tucson has Cherry Popper kind of making sure that the pack stays in check because a 3-wall is going up against Smasha on the backside. Shanna Banana Hammock bumped off at turn 1's got to recycle back along the pivot line. Ala Smash it. Turn 2, lead jammer. Jet City has owned that category. Beethoven's Fist called on the penalty. She has already played havoc on the Tucson skaters. So the skaters in dark blue probably relieved to see Beethoven's Fist in the penalty box, quite honestly. She has been all over the place, both offensively and defensively. Jet City wins the frame 3-0, so it's 85-42, 7 minutes, 14 seconds and counting. Pixie Axe trying to get the momentum going back Tucson's direction. It's going to be Ivana Hercha wearing the star for Jet City. Pixie's got the wall trimmed down to a 2 front, and at turn 1, Pixie is your lead jammer for Tucson. Ivana Hercha bumped off, got to recycle back to turn 4. The helmet cover comes off, maybe looking to do an exchange. Pixie bumped off, Doesn't have to recycle back, bumped off again. This time she does have to recycle back behind Razor Wrecker. Pixie Axe. 5 up top, and Tucson looking to get the momentum going back as they look towards the locker room at the end of the first half. Pixie Axe, good hop, skip, and a jump. That's going to be 4 on the board. Tucson wins the frame 9-0, 85-51, 6:10 to go in the first half. That nice little bit of energy might be exactly what Tucson needs to get back into the action and establish the dominance that they showed in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the bout. They also have a great opportunity because they have all 4 of their blockers. Jet City, only 2 with Bombshell and Razor Wrecker sitting in the penalty box. Cherry Popper is going to go out, try to play some offense for her jammer. That's Shanna Banana Hammock. That turn 1 on the inside path. Tucson has the lead call. Bombshell's penalty expires, so Jet City with 3 blockers. That's where Banana engages them at turn 1. Tucson blocker penalty. Looks like that's Cherry Popper going to the sin bin. Razor Wrecker set free just as the whistles blow to end the frame. But Tucson getting that ball rolling their direction. They're going to win the frame 3-0. And now it's a 31-point deficit that they face, 85-54 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. A little bit of a side comment. I totally dig the gold and blue plaid pattern shirts that Arizona's sporting around here. It's so easy to spot them. I love it, you know. Hanging out in the stands, there they are. There's Tucson. Hanging out on the bench, hey, there's Tucson. By far, they are winning the wardrobe competition here at Besterns. Back on the track, Eva Derchi is your lead jammer for Jet City. Penalty for a Jet City blocker. That's Rock and Roll Chola going to the sin bin. Helenati had her penalty expired, so she's back on the track. However, Blackstick and Bomber back in the penalty box. I'm going to have to take a look at that. Bomber has been in the box quite a bit in the first half. You only get 7, and I think it's been at least 3 thus far. So that could be some dangerous territory for Bomber as we get into the second half. Jet City scoring 9, tapping it off 94-54. And Tucson wants an official review for some of the action that happened during that last frame. I saw the skaters rush over to the coach, signal for an official review. They seem pretty adamant about it, so that usually is a pretty good indication that the team challenging the action has a good case to overturn something that happened on the track. We'll see. If I find out, I will let you know. So we got our whistle that ends the official review. If I get word on what happened, I will pass that along. I'm sneaking a peek over the scoreboard just to see if Tucson's official review stays there, indicating that they won, or if it's going to disappear, indicating that they lost. The whistle blows, they do not retain, so they lost that challenge. Interesting, the body language of the bench indicated to me that they had a pretty good case, but that does not turn out to be the case. We go over to the track. We got Ninja wearing the star for Jet City. She is your lead jammer. She's already through, engaging the pack at turn 2. Pixie out of the pack, eligible for points for Tucson, as Ninja putting 4 on the board and then quickly tapping those hips before Pixie can do any damage for Tucson. Jet City has come out very impressive for this day. Keep in mind, this is their second bout. They beat Boulder earlier, 194-129, and thus far, they've got a 98-54 advantage over Tucson, who came in as the top seed for BESTERNS. Alla Smasha out there for Jet City. It's going to be Shanna Banana Hammock for Tucson. Shanna Banana Hammock facing a 3-wall, trims it down to a 2-wall, and with a spin move, gets bumped off, but a penalty called, so Banana does not have to recycle back. Your lead jammer is Shanna Banana Hammock for Tucson. Champagne laying a shoulder into Shanna Banana Hammock for a second time, recycling her back to the pivot line. Jet City yet to get their jammer through the pack on their initial pass. Just as I say that, that is exactly what happens. Alla Smasha now eligible for points, as on the other side, Shanna Banana Hammock making one more pass, tapping those hips, and Tucson is going to win the frame. Looks like 4-0. 98-58, 40-point differential. 90 seconds remaining here in the first half. Death Proof wearing the star for Tucson gets bumped off. Hopped on the track really quickly before she can be recycled back. On the other side, though, Jet City continues to dominate the category of grabbing lead jammer. Ivana Hercha doing just that. If you can stay out of the penalty box and you can grab lead jammer status most of the time, everything else seems to fall into place. I think that's exactly what's happened for Jet City. That first 5-10 minutes of the bout, they weren't able to be successful in those two categories. Since then, however, they've done a really good job of that and taking advantage of some of the Tucson penalties, because Tucson has been in more penalty trouble in the last 15 minutes or so than Jet City. Just Daisy for Jet City called for a penalty, so she is hanging out right in front of me at the penalty box. Death Proof trying to get through that one more pass in the waning seconds of the first half. Sia Wouldn't Want to Be It is the most recent nightmare for Death Proof. There's Sia Wouldn't Want to Be It again at turn 3 against Death Proof. The lead jammer, Ivana Hercha, with a fancy move. That's 5 points for Jet City. This time on the inside path, just a quick little push move through, and Ivana Hercha put another 5-point grand slam on the board. And Jet City establishing themselves as a force to be reckoned with here at the 2017 BESTERNS tournament. Ivana Hercha just putting the team on her back, carrying it through. That is a 20-point jam thus far in what will be the final jam of the first half. Jet City is going to end the action with an exclamation point. 20 points on the board. Last jam, 118-58, a 60-point advantage. If I do the after mathematics correctly, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Jet City, 60 points, establishing themselves and really coming out hot, especially when you consider the fact that at one point in time, Tucson was up 25-0. It has been all Jet City ever since then. We've got about a 15-minute break. I'm going to go grab some water, get a quick snack. Hey, Don't go too far, though. You can do the same. And in 15 minutes, we're going to have 30 more minutes of action. Welcome back, Derby aficionados. We're just about wrapped up with halftime here between Tucson and Jet City. Tucson started off strong in that first half, grabbed a commanding 25-0 lead, and then after that, Jet City put in their video game cheat code or something and just tore it up for the remainder of the first half. They have a 60-point advantage after 30 minutes of action. Obviously, Tucson wants to turn that all around in the second 30 half. Teams are going to switch benches. In case you're just joining us, Jet City's wearing the white, trimmed with the blue. Looks like they're all wearing black on the bottom. Tucson with the dark blue, trimmed with the gold. Tucson coming in as the number 1 seed, ranked 26th in the WFTDA rankings. Jet City had to fight their way to get to this one. They beat Boulder County earlier this morning. They are ranked 58th in the WFTDA. After the 2 performances they put on this morning, though, I think that will be changing. My name is Mr. Clitter. It is an honor and a privilege to be with you again. And I'm going to be here for the next bout, which starts at 4 p.m. That whistle that you may or may not have heard, depending on your vantage point and how the sound is transmitting over the stream, ends halftime. Our next one will get us back to work. We got 5-on-5 derby to start things off. Tucson sends Shanna Banana Hammock out there to don the star. Going to be squaring off against Ivana Hercha for Jet City. Shanna Banana bumped off once already, gets back to work. The Pax move just about turn 1. Ivana Hercha gets bumped off on the inside part and actually has to recycle back behind Shanna Banana Hammock. Ivana Hercha bumped off again. This time gets recycled back by Midnight Crasher. We're 45 seconds into this jam. No lead jammer established yet. Ivana Hercha on the backstretch. Finally, almost a full minute into the jam. Your first lead call goes to Jet City. Shanna Banana Hammock has taken the helmet cover. Got it in her hand. Not sure if she's going to use that as a decoy or giving it off to the pivot. She does just that, gives it to the pivot. Blackstick Bomber is now the jammer of record for Tucson as Ivana Hercha makes a scoring pass at turn 3, gets bumped off the track at turn 4. Nice piece of defensive work there by Troubleshooter, and that causes the call off, but not before Jet City draws first blood in the second half, 5-0. Five-on-five derby continues. Eva Dirchi with the star for Jet City. Stop block called on the Mexorcist. Pixie Axe out there battling things for Tucson, and on the outside she goes low and gets rewarded with that lead status. Gets wiped out though just as that is established, so a quick call-off is coming and no points are going to be awarded during this frame. We'll reset in 30 seconds and try our luck again. This next jam is going to feature a 4-on-3 pack advantage for Tucson. Wearing the star on the jam line for the first time today is number 13, Blackstick Bomber. Blackstick has had the star, but as the pivot, hasn't actually lined up on the jam line yet. Going up against Sofa King Ninja for Jet City, and there is your lead. Ninja been in charge for most of the bout and continues that role here into the second half. Ninja calls it off No points scored, so for the second jam in a row, we're going to have a 0-0 frame. Still 123-58, 26 and a half to go in the second half. All smash it done in the star for Jet City. Shanna Banana Hammock out there for Tucson. All smash it takes that 4-wall, trims it down to a 3. Then it gets reabsorbed into a 4-wall. No room for either of these jammers at turn 1. Champagne with a good hit between turns 1 and 2 forces Shanna Banana Hammock off the track. And there we go. 40 seconds into the jam. Tucson controls the action with that lead call. Tucson found a recipe for success defensively. All smash it just now getting through the pack on their initial pass. And that is Shanna Banana Hammock's cue to call things off. 1 point is going to be awarded. Hey, they all count. So Tucson wins the frame 1-0. Three-on-two pack advantage for Jet City. Check that. It's a 4-on-2 pack advantage. So Tucson not helping themselves out with the penalties as they start to accumulate again. Pixie Axe is out there for Tucson. If you grab lead, then you kind of negate the penalty trouble that you're in, at least a little bit. Ivana Hirsch done in the star for Jet City. No lead jammer established, but Ivana Hirsch has got the defensive front for Tucson down to just a single blocker. And usually if you keep your legs working, that's exactly what happens. Good things. Lead jammer, Jet City. On a no pass, no penalty, Pixie Axe gets through on their initial pass, so both jammers looking for points. Quick engagement, quick call off. Let the folks in stripes sort it all out and see how many points are awarded. Looks like nothing for either one of them. So our third scoreless jam in quick succession here in the second half. Eva Dirci back out there for Jet City. Tucson doing a little mixing up here. Troubleshooter wearing the star for the first time today. The Saddle Tramps trying different recipes, trying to get something going. And maybe a bit of trickery, I don't know. Inexperienced, but Troubleshooter gets called on a track cut. And a power jam is going to come for Jet City. With Tucson already having a blocker in the penalty box, this has potential to be a big power jam for Jet City. There goes Eva Dirci with 5 big points right away. Oh, Eva Dirci going low, going outside at turn 3, putting 5 in the sky. And the Bombers are making things happen. Metal Maiden go to the penalty box for Tucson. Eva Dirci stepped off the track, calls a halt to the action. It's going to be 5 more points, a 15-point jam for Jet City. Tucson only with that single point that they scored, I believe, in the second jam of the second half. So only 59 points now. 138 is the total for Jet City. Shanna Banana Hammock trying to turn the tide for Tucson. Sofa King Ninja number 30 out there for Jet City, the skaters in white. Forearm called on Pinky McLovin. So the penalties just keep rolling for the Saddle Tramps, and that is not a good thing. Lead jammer for Ninja. And after a quick little engagement just past the jam line, a quick move to the outside gets 5 points on the board for the Bombers. Shanna Banana Hammock on the other end of the track, fighting it out with Just Daisy. She overcomes Just Daisy and now is eligible for points. One more scoring pass for Jet City. Quick tap of the hips, 4 whistles, and that's all she wrote. Just under 21 minutes to go in the second half. A timeout called by Tucson. We'll see if they mix things up or if they go back to some of the things that they were trying and that worked out really well in the first part of the first half. In the last few minutes, Tucson's been throwing different people out as jammers. For instance, we saw Troubleshooter, we saw Galactic and Bomber. Folks that are maybe pivots or traditionally blockers are putting the star on. It seems like the coaching staff for Tucson is just looking for that recipe, looking for something that works against this Jet City defense. Jet City has done a very, very good job making adjustments throughout the bout. Anytime that Tucson has managed some success, Jet City dials things up, makes some changes, and it really seems like that Jet City has an answer for anything that Tucson throws their way. Folks, at 4 p.m. we have the next bout of BESTERNS 2017. No Coast, coming all the way from Nebraska, is going to face the winner that we had earlier from Game 2. That was Sac City. So Sac City versus No Coast starting right now at at 4 p.m. And then after that, we've got Arizona squaring off against the winner of the third game from today. That would be Treasure Valley. We're going to finish things off at 8 p.m. with Wasatch and Rocky Mountain. We are back to work after the Tucson timeout. Pixie Axe wearing the star for the Saddle Tramps. Got a 3-wall trimmed down to a 2-wall on the backstretch, but they bumper off, and Jet City did a great job immediately reacting and recycling back. Tucson on a power start as Ninja's been hanging out in the penalty box for 30 seconds. I missed that penalty. But now it has expired, so Sofa King Ninja engaging the pack on the backstretch. Pixie Axe still fighting it out with a 2-wall. Bombshell is leading that. Also getting some help from Beethoven's Fist. Who else? Pixie Axe trims it down to just Beethoven's Fist and somehow, some way, makes her way through. Beethoven's Fist really has played very, very tough. Pixie Axe exhausted, but is the lead jammer. Sofa King Ninja finds a seam and is eligible for points as well. The pack sets up right at the pivot line. Pixie tries to get some points, taps those hips. Looks like Tucson is going to win the frame 2-0. This next jam shows a 4-3 pack advantage for Jet City. I'll smash it out there for the Bombers. It's going to be Shanna Banana Hammock donning the star for Tucson. And nice and easy, Jet City establishes themselves as the lead jammer. Pack sets up just past turn 1, stretching over into turn 2. Champ Payne putting the shoulder in, trying to help her blocker out. Not quite successful. Shanna Banana Hammock on the backstretch, fighting her way through. Got that 2-wall, gets bumped off, and then Jet City immediately reacts, recycles back, and Shanna Banana Hammock has to go all the way to turn 2 to rejoin the action. Alla Smasha on the backstretch, inside path, and that is going to be a 5-point tally for Jet City. Jammers are going to duel it out as they come around turn 3. and engage the pack at turn 4. All smash it with another tally. Jet City pouring it on, and it's going to continue to go that way as a track cut called on Shanna Banana Hammock. With a call-off, this penalty is going to extend into the next jam as Shanna just barely hit the seat of the penalty box as that whistle expired. So essentially, 30 seconds remain on Shanna Banana Hammock's penalty. Ivana Hurcha on the power start. Jet City's got the goat there. That is Blaxican Bomber. Bomber manages to get through and rejoin the blockers there at turn 2. Pinky McLovin doing a good job of one-on-one defense against Ivana Hurcha. Then just Daisy helps out her blocker with a good hit there on Pinky. Ivana Hurcha on the backstretch has one blocker to beat. Easier said than done, though, as Banana serves her penalty all the way around the track. Through the pack, lead jammer goes to Tucson. Shanna Banana Hammock flies to the pack, gets bumped off on the inside part of the front stretch, and calls a halt to the action. Tucson's going to win the frame 1-0. When they have scored in the second half, it has not been a lot of points. You're not seeing these 10, 15-point rallies for Tucson that we saw in the very first few jams of the bout. Jet City's been able to really constrict Tucson and limit all their movement. When they have scored in the second half, it's been 1, 2 points here or there, sometimes a 3-point tally, but nothing big, and Jet City is perfectly content with the way that's working. Eva Durchi, like a lightning bolt on the inside part, is your lead jammer. Pixie Axe wearing the star for Tucson gets bumped off at turn 2, recycled back by Razor Wrecker. Eva Durchi gets bumped off on the outside part of turn 2, hops back to work, and then gets bumped off on the inside part. Back in the action again. This time, Success greets Eva Durchi. That's going to be 5 points for Jet City. A big pile up on the backstretch after a star pass has been initiated and completed by Tucson. Pixie Axe took that cover off, gives it to number 504, Cherry Popper, who was the jammer of record as the 4 whistles blow. But no points are going to get tallied for the Saddle Tramps. Shanna Banana Hammock, Sofa King Ninja. 4-on-4 is the pack scenario. I always like that. Ninja thought she had the lead. A penalty is called. Looks like a high block on Ninja. So a power opportunity for Tucson and Shanna Banana Hammock. Shanna Banana Hammock getting through and is the lead. So at any point in time, Shanna can call things off. Oh, somehow, some way, Shanna Banana Hammock made the jump, stayed on the track with the toe stop. That's a 5-point tally for the Saddle Tramps. Shanna Banana Hammock bumped off on the inside part of turn 4, has to go back to turn 3 on the other side. Same fate meets Sofa King Ninja, this time though on the front stretch. Pinky McLovin going to the penalty box. Ninja engaging a 3-wall just at the jam line, currently being braced by Blaxican Bomber. Gets through, and Ninja now eligible for points. As Shanna Banana Hammock makes a scoring pass, taps those hips, and Tucson is going to win the jam 10-0, bringing their score to 76. Jet City 164. And we've got about 12 and a half minutes to go here in the second half. I'll smash it back out there for Jet City, and Troubleshooter is going to go back to work for the second time for Tucson. Whistles are blowing, penalties are being assessed. Look like a clockwise block is going to be attributed to one of the blockers. Indeed, that's Momo going to the box on that clockwise block. Oh, smasher. Jet City, lead jammer. Troubleshooter on the backstretch, getting bumped off on the inside part and then recycled back by the Mexicus. The Mexicus, though, called on a penalty as well, and so she shall head to the penalty box. Troubleshooter one-on-one action with Just Daisy, and Just Daisy is winning that engagement. Must have been a good solid 15 seconds that Daisy was able to hold up Troubleshooter on the front stretch. Timeout called on the track by Jet City. The winner of this bout will face the winner of Game 7, so Wasatch or Rocky, at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Whoever ends up coming up on the short end of this bout would be the loser of Game 4, will actually skate at 4 p.m. tomorrow. We don't know who that opponent is. That's going to be the winner of Game 10, which would be the 12 o'clock game tomorrow afternoon. But either way, both of these teams will continue to skate tomorrow, whether it's in the afternoon, whether it's in the evening. In summary, we've got just about 11 minutes to go in the second half. 168-76 in favor of the Jet City Bombers. All right, here we go, back to work. 4-on-3 pack advantage when that whistle blows in favor of Tucson. Pixie Axe, number 33, with the star on her helmet for the Saddle Tramps, squaring off against number 5, Ivana Hercha for Jet City. Pixie Axe recycled back. See, You Wouldn't Want to Be has been an impressive force on the track all bout long for Jet City. Whistle blows. Tucson blocker going to the penalty box. That's Pinky McLovin again. Not to be outdone, Jet City will have a blocker coming to the penalty box as well. Lead jammer established. That's going to be Ivana Hercha. It's going to be Bombshell, the Jet City blocker, going to the penalty box. Star pass initiated and completed, so Blaxican Bomber is now the jammer of record for the Saddle Tramps. Recipe for success for Jet City right now. Get points, hold Tucson scoreless. If you're the lead jammer, obviously you just call a halt to the action. Let the clock keep ticking in those 30-second breaks. Champagne for Jet City donning the star for the first time today, squaring off against Shanna Banana Hammock for Tucson. Champagne's done a fantastic job defensively. So now, going to see what happens when you put her in the offensive position. Shanna Banana Hammock, lead jammer Tucson. Champagne gets recycled back to turn 4 and then goes on the offensive, putting the shoulder into Emasculator and getting through on her initial pass. Shanna Banana Hammock facing a tough 3-wall here at the pivot line as Champagne sees her way through for 4 points for Jet City. Tucson's going to get 2. So even though Tucson had the lead status, it's going to be Jet City who's victorious on the jam, 4-2. Pixie, Axe y Ivederci tienen las estrellas en los cascos. Iva se fue del pisto. Tiene que hacer algo diferente. Al otro lado, Pixie Axe está. Su jammer principal para Tucson. El grupo está formando en número 2 y así es cuando Pixie reúne y después vamos a tener 3 puntos para Tucson, 0 para Jet City. 7 minutos. Sorry about that, folks. Somebody hit the SAP button on my microphone. We're going to get back to the action. It's probably preferred, but hey, no guarantees. It's kind of crowded here in the booth. You never know what's going to happen. We're going to have Shanna Banana Hammock wearing the star for Tucson. Be squaring off against Sofa King Ninja for Jet City. Ninja one more time doing what she does best for the skaters in white. That's lead jammer. Establishment and Shanna Banana Hammock is through on her initial pass. So everybody looking for points as Ninja is successful in her search for points. It's going to be 2 for Jet City. Tucson held scoreless. Tucson calling a timeout. We've got 6 minutes, 33 seconds to go in this one. 178-81 in favor of the Jet City Roller Girls Bombers. So it looks like Jet City is well on their way to going 2-0 in day 1 of BESTERNS. It's going to take their 2017 record to 3-1, and I'm sure that ranking is going to go from 58th way up because they are currently doing one heck of a job against Tucson, who is coming in at 26th in the WFTDA rankings. Reminder, folks, at 4 p.m., we've got another bout coming your way. No Coast from Lincoln, Nebraska is going to be squaring off against Sac City from Sacramento, California. Sac City victorious earlier today. See if they can ride that momentum against No Coast. No Coast hasn't skated just yet, so, again, there's that question. Is it the team that's already skated that has the advantage because they've worked out all the rust spots? Or is it the team that has not yet skated because they're going to be fresh? We shall see beginning at 4 p.m. All right, I just heard the whistle that will end the timeout, so obviously the next whistle will get us back to work. We're going to have Alla Smasha, Pixie Axe. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. An empty penalty box, so it's going to be 5-on-5 derby. Pixie Axe, turn one. Llama principal para Tucson. Dos penales, uno a todos los bloqueadores. Uno para Jet City, uno para Tucson. 3-3 en el grupo. Pixie Axe. En doble número 1 tiene Just Daisy. Y ahora está batallando contra el Chicle Truck. Al otro lado, Jet City tiene 4 puntos en la marcadora. Back to the action. Pixie Axe got wind knocked out of her in that last jam, but it was good to see her off and back to the bench under her own power. Jet City grabbing lead jammer real quickly. That's Ivana Hercha. Shanna Banana Hammock donning the star once again for Tucson. Fast moving pack around turn 2. Big hit along the backstretch. Jet City really playing physical and establishing themselves, leaving some bruises that'll probably need to be signed with a Sharpie by the end of the weekend. Shanna Banana Hammock scoring 4. Ivana Hercha getting 4 as well, so it almost looks as if Jet City content rolling out the clock. They can call it off at any time. But if the clock keeps rolling, that's just more ticks that they can command. They do just that, though. They call it off. It's going to be an 11-8 victory at the jam, 193-93. So now Jet City with a nice and even 100-point deficit that they have created. Ivaderchi troubleshooter squaring off 5-on-5 derby. Quick little shift towards the jam line right before the whistle blows. Everybody concentrating in there. Blaxican Bomber doing a good job trying to get to the front of the pack and command the action with a good hit on the outside part of turn 1. Also gets a penalty there against Ivaderchi, so a power opportunity for troubleshooter in Tucson. No lead jammer has been established, so that is still open. And there it is, troubleshooter lead jammer for the Saddle Tramps. All focus on troubleshooter, both offensively for Tucson, defensively for Jet City. Troubleshooter bumped off on the inside part of the backstretch, but quickly back to work where Sia Wouldn't Want to Be a engages the jammer. Troubleshooter bumped off again, recycling back. This time to turn 2 with a hop, skip, and a jump. Somehow it looked like, yeah, I kind of agree with Troubleshooter. It didn't look like there was going to be a track cut called from the official, but from my vantage point, it looked like a track cut. Troubleshooter seemed to be on the same page as me. So a quick recycle back, and Troubleshooter back to work at turn 4. The Mexorcist defensively stout. Razor Record defensively stout. And a track cut is being called on Troubleshooter. We lost our lead jammer. We are going to skate for 2 full minutes. Ivaderci back on the track, but quickly called for another penalty. So that allows Troubleshooter to be released from the box, and Ivaderci serving that second penalty. It was only a few seconds. Both jammers back on the track. Ivaderci on her first pass is now eligible for points as Troubleshooter engages along the backstretch, gets bumped off, and has to go about turn 2 to rejoin. Bexorcist called on a penalty at the end of the jam, so Jet City will be short a blocker when the whistle blows again. But Tucson wins the jam 5-0, 193-98. 1 minute, 20 seconds to go in the second half. This jam features Shanna Banana Hammock again for Tucson, who gets bumped off on the inside part, and there's Beethoven's fist to meet her. Jet City sending Ivana Hercha onto the jam line. Ivana just trying to push through a tough 3-wall, currently being braced by Emasculator. Shanna Banana Hammock's her lead jammer for the Saddle Tramps. Shanna getting through. That's going to be 5 big points for the skaters from Arizona. Looks like this will be our final jam of the bout, unless a timeout's taken after a quick call-off, something like that. Here comes that call-off by Shanna Banana Hammock. And there is that quick timeout. Wow, my crystal ball is working overtime and actually functioning pretty well for once. We got 7 seconds remaining in this one. 195-107 is the score in favor of Jet City from Everett, Washington. They're wearing the white jerseys. Tucson going to go out on their shield. They want to get in every last jam that they can, tally up any point, leave some bruises, leave their mark, and get ready to do it all over again later this weekend. Skaters all making their way slowly but surely back onto the track. Tucson, though, is only going to have 2 blockers when they start out. It's going to be Pinky McLovin and Blackskin Bomber. Jet City will have 3 out there. Both jammers taking the field. We've got Sofa King Ninja and Pixie Axe. Ninja getting some help from one of her blockers. That's going to be Rock and Rolla Chola. And Sofa King Ninja is your lead jammer, Jet City. Momo set free out of the penalty box, so Tucson now has all of their blockers out there, but it makes no difference to Ninja. Quick little poof of a smoke bomb. She's through the pack. Unfortunately, then a penalty called on Ninja. We're going to go the full 2 minutes because that was our lead jammer. And a power opportunity for Tucson. The star given to Blackskin Bomber. Blackskin Bomber is your jammer of record for Tucson and will be for the final 75 seconds of the bout. Bomber on the inside. Turn for Tucson. 5 big points. Blackskin Bomber dice que sí se puede. 5 puntos para las patadoras de Tucson. Ya solo tenemos 45 segundos en el partido. Bomber está trabajando. En doble número 3 hay un otro penal. Esta vez en Momo para Tucson. Ninja tiene 4 puntos para las damas en las camisas blancas. Ninja, otra vez, esta vez 5. Boma, parece que está muy cansada, ¿no? Está trabajando muy duro en este evento. Al otro lado, Ninja. Tiene 5 más puntos, 2 más para Tucson. Pero esto se acabó. Jet City 209. Tucson 119. You knew the Spanish was coming back. Hey, it'll come back in the next game too, because I'm on the mic for Sac City and Nocos. But this one is official. 209-119 in favor of the Jet City Bombers from Everett, Washington. Thank you so much for joining us on the stream. The Rocky Mountain Roller Girls sure appreciate it. And I hope you keep coming back all weekend long. I'm going to take a bit of a break. I'm Mr. Clitter. I'll be back at 4 p.m. once again. We got Nocos. We got Sac City. Sac City victorious already once. Nocos coming in hot, looking to make their mark on the 4th annual BESTERNS tournament.